Dead's on deck with evil dead chick. What's in store when you open the door? Step inside, my little ones. Bring your flashlight and good luck charms. Oh, and good luck charms. Oh. Might get dark. It might get scary. Maybe even a little insane. Crawl out from under the bed. Don't be afraid. Evil Dead Chick is here to entertain and thrill. Dead is on deck with Evil Dead Chick. Let's hang out till the sun comes up.
They're all messed up.
Beyond recognition.
Howdy, gang, and welcome to the second episode of They're All Messed Up. And I'm going to be talking about here in just a little bit about a couple more slasher films from the early 70s, Black Belly of the Tarantula and Blood and Lace, not to be confused with Blood and Black Lace, which was a totally different movie. Blood and Lace was also under the title Blood Secret as well. So I'm going to get to both of those movies and the kills in those movies here in just a little bit. But let's get a little housekeeping stuff out of the way first. And I do apologize that I had to change the time yet again on this because I got behind on watching these two films, and I always like to make sure that I watch them before I get on here and talk about them, especially if they are ones that I have not seen. Now, I think Steve said we watched Blood and Lace, but I really don't remember watching it. And I'm pretty daggone sure that I haven't seen Black Belly of the Tarantula, but now I have. I've seen both of them. So again, we're going to get to those here in just a little bit. But I want to remind everybody, of course, of the poll that's up for the watch-alongs that will be coming up this next Saturday and Sunday, not the one we're heading into, but the one following. And it looks like Evil Laugh is in the head. Can't even talk. Is ahead and winning right now for Saturday. And I believe Shopping Mall is the winner right now for Sunday. Now, I'm having a special bonus watch along for Terrifier 3 this coming Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm going to have a special guest on here with me. Hope's going to be on here with me, sharing in all the goodness that is Terrifier 3. I have not yet seen Terrifier 3, and Hope has. So this should be a fun time. So be sure to join us for that this next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to be watching Terrifier 3. So come along and watch along with us if you like. And if you'd like to join me in Hope live on the stream, be sure to let me know so that I can get the link to you. Of course, if those of you that want to, or my friend on Facebook, I can just send you the link through Facebook Messenger. If you are not, I can put it up for a brief time in the chat. Okay, so what else do I have coming up? No watch alongs this weekend. No movie munchies this weekend. There will be a soup and Jallos where I'm going to be premiering a new soup and showing y'all a particular Jallo to pair it with. So, other than that, I'll have a new cannon fodder up, a new Dick's Picks up. Those will be for Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, I'm going to try to do They're All Messed Up episode 3, where I'll be talking about another couple of slasher films and talking about the kills in them and all of that good stuff. And like I said, Friday, we may have a Friday Foolish. We'll see. Things have been kind of up in the air for a little bit due to no fault of Candace or me. It's just the way things have gone. So we're going to try on Friday at 6 p.m. to do that. And it'll probably have to be short because Hope and I are doing that, the watch along for Terrifier 3 at 7. So I need to talk to Candace about that actually. Yeah, I think that is all for updates and all that good stuff. Just make sure you get your votes in because I'm going to be locking down the voting this coming Monday around 10 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure you get your votes in before then. So without further ado, we're going to get to these movies. I'm going to be talking about the kills. I have my little owl notebook that I write down all this stuff in so that I don't miss anything. Okay. Well, trying here. Let's see. These pages, I tell you. Okay. So, the first film I watched was Black Belly of the Tarantula. I don't have a physical copy of that, but I do for Blood and Lace, and I'll show it here in just a second. Black Belly of the Tarantula came out in 1971. It was directed by Paolo Cavara, and I'm probably massacring that person's name. I'm sorry about that. And does have Barbara Boucher in it, naked as the day she was born. So you fans of Barbara Boucher and her figure can revel in that before, unfortunately, she gets killed off. She is the first to get killed off in the movie. Sorry about that spoiler, folks, but I thought I better warn you about that. So we start out, like I said, with Barbara Boucher completely naked, getting a massage by a blonde. Cannot talk tonight. I haven't had one drop of alcohol. A blind masseuse. And I told Steve, I said, a blind masseuse? He said, yeah. So then she goes home and her her husband, who her estranged husband that she separated from, slaps her around a little bit. She screams a little bit. Uh, then he leaves, and a little bit later, a killer approaches and sticks an acupuncture needle into the back of her neck. And we realize a little bit later in the film that the acupuncture needle has a rare wasp poison in it. And we find out a little more about this wasp later and why this movie is called Black Belly of the Tarantula, because we're told within the film that this particular type of wasp can kill and lay its eggs or put its larva in a tarantula after killing the tarantula. And basically, the tarantula is forced to watch its own death because the sting from this wasp paralyzes the spider. And then basically, the wasp chews into its abdomen and lays its eggs in there. Pretty gruesome stuff, in the insect and arachnid world there. Usually you would hear of arachnids eating insects, not in this case. I'm not even sure if this is a real wasp. I didn't look it up, but I don't want to encounter it if it is. So the killer has this poison from this rare wasp on these acupuncture needles. They stab the women in the back of the neck, which doesn't kill them, but it paralyzes them. So they're forced to watch themselves being murdered, in particular with the knife. It's not anything real elaborate, but I thought it was unusual the way that the killer, first paralyzed them and then killed them. Basically stabbing them in the stomach and stuff like that with a knife. But the part before that was the unusual part, the part that you don't see a lot in films. So, like I said, we've got a woman, Barbara Boucher's character, paralyzed by poison from a rare wasp, and then she's stabbed in the stomach. And basically, all the other women are stabbed with knives after being paralyzed with the rare wasp poison. So we have 4 women within the film that are killed in this way. We also have a man that's pushed from a building. We have a man that's hit by a car. And that's about all she wrote on that. There's about 6 kills in this. Although I didn't find it a really bloody film, I did find it a gruesome film in a lot of ways. Because of you watch this whole thing. It may have been stock footage or something of this wasp actually attacking a spider. And it was vicious. It was pretty vicious. Even more vicious than the actual murders in the movie, I feel like. I don't want to tell you who the killer is, because I know a lot of people, especially in films like this, they like to be surprised. So I'm not going to say who the killer is, but this is a decent film. I could see myself going back and watching it again, even though it wasn't really super bloody. I mean, as I go through this series, I'm going to be covering a wide variety of slasher films. Some a little more gory than others, some a little more inventive with the kills than others. But I hope that you guys and gals enjoy listening to me talk about these different movies. Maybe movies that you haven't seen that you kind of perk up your ears a little bit when you hear me talking about them. Say, gee, I might like to look that one up. Black Belly of the Tarantula, I was on Shutter at one time. I don't think it's on Shutter anymore, and it was on Tubi at one time and not anymore. Not to say that it might not be again, but I think Steve found it on Full Moon through Amazon, and that's how I watched it. He thought he had it on the hard drive, but unfortunately he did. Um, so there are a few ways that you can watch it if you don't already own a copy of it. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and give a rating for Black Belly of the Tarantula, and for, the inventive way that the women were paralyzed for being killed. Um, After that, it wasn't really anything really elaborate, but I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4 deadites out of 5, because I think it's deserving of that. I mean, am I telling you to go out and spend your hard earned money on it? No. But if you can watch it, through one of the other outlets, or, you find it maybe on YouTube or something like that, um, you, you can watch it that way. You may be able to find it on Tubi at a later date, or it may be pop up back on Shutter. It's just that unfortunately me and Steve couldn't find it today for me to watch it. Okay, so moving on to the other film. This is Steve's copy of Blood and Lace. Again, not to be confused with Blood at Black Lace. And I mean, this cover made me really want to watch this, even though Steve says we watched it together before. I mean, this cover alone, I was like, wow, I want to watch that. However, I was a little disappointed. I mean, I guess it was a slow burn. But I was expecting, after the first kill, well, let me first off tell you, what year this came out. This one also came out in 1971, directed by Philip Gilbert. I'm not sure if this one is available anywhere else, but you could do a search for it. Vic Tayback is in this, Mel from Alice. Y'all remember that show, right? Um, Gloria Graham's on here, and a very young Dennis Christopher as one of the kids in the orphanage or youth home or whatever they call it. But this movie starts out with a bang. And I was really getting excited about it because a couple is attacked in bed. They're asleep by someone with a hammer, and it's pretty vicious. And then the room is set on fire. And then the next thing you know, a young or teenage girl, Ellie, who is pretty much our main character, wakes up screaming in bed. They have put her in the hospital because they don't really have anywhere else to put her. She doesn't know who her father is. Her mother was just short of a prostitute. I think she was a prostitute by this time, because they mentioned her going professional. But she slept around with different men all her life, or I mean, all her adult life, I guess. And she told her daughter Ellie that the first man that she had sex with got her pregnant and messed up her figure. And she blamed Ellie for that, unfortunately. So, then the social worker comes, and Ellie's like, I want out of here. I am going to leave this hospital. And he said, Ellie, you're still a minor. You can't go out on your own. But she insists, and Vic Tayback comes along, and he used to have I guess, a movie theater, or run a movie theater, and it closed, and now he's a detective. And he comes by and picks Ellie up. At first, she thinks he's somebody to, be frightened of. And he takes her back to the youth home, or takes her back to the hospital, rather. And then they take her to the youth home. And it's run by Miss Deer, played by Gloria Graham, who's, yeah, she's a wicked bitch. She locks some of the kids in the attic, and doesn't give them any water. She stands there in front of the girl who's tied to a post in the attic. And the girl's saying, please, I'm so thirsty. And she stands there and drinks the water in front of her. And she does this. Why? Because the girl tried to run away. Um, the, there's a there's evidently several children that have tried to run away, and they've got them in the freezer, and they switch them from the freezer to the infirmary, and then tell the social worker when he comes to check everything out, they've got an illness, and he really shouldn't go in the infirmary because he might catch whatever they've got. So, uh, Miss Deer also has a very sadistic handyman who succeeds in chopping a young boy's hand off, and then, hiding the boy when he's like, oh shit, I'm going to get in trouble now because I cut this kid's hand off. Um, and he tries to get handsy with the girls, especially Ellie when she comes to the youth home. And like I said, Dennis Christopher, a very, very young Dennis Christopher, the youngest I've ever seen him, as Pete, one of the kids in the youth home. There's another girl, Bunches, or not Bunches, Bunch, they call her. And she's only 16. I think this girl was older because you see her, pretty much naked at one point and stuff. And she doesn't like Ellie after a little while because she wants this one guy who's the oldest of the kids there, and Ellie's taking a shine to him, and so has Bunch. And Bunch doesn't like it that, he seems to prefer Ellie over her. Um, so, so not only do you have all of that going on, but that Miss Deer has her dead husband. I don't know if she's storing him in the freezer too. I figure that's the only way she can keep him preserved. And she thinks she's going to be able to that there's in the future, there's going to be some kind of transplantation where she can bring her dead husband back to life. And she loves the guy, even though he was fooling around with Ellie's mother. I just cannot get my words straight tonight. Or he had at least slept with Ellie's mother at least one time. So, we've got all that. Plus, we have some creepy person going around, looks like a guy with a mask on and carrying a hammer around, cropping up certain places. Now, let's get to the kills in this because I don't want to give away the ending because it's a wild and woolly ending. I'll just say that. So we have 4 kills in this one, just shy of the 6 that were in Black Belly of the Tarantula. So we got the man and woman bludgeoned with a hammer at the beginning, and then a room set on fire. Teenage boy has his hand cut off. A man gets a meat cleaver to the back, and a man and woman are locked in the freezer, and so we assume that they're going to freeze to death. So I guess actually we have 5, or no, we actually, if we want to count every one of these, we got 6. So we got equal to what we had in Black Belly of the Tarantula, if we want to be super specific. So, I mean, even though I would have liked it to been a little more intensive, it's still decent. So I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 deadites out of 5 as well. It had its flaws, but I could see myself going back and watching it again. It did catch my interest. It wasn't boring. It just didn't have as much going on as I thought it initially was. I mean, like I said, based on this cover, I was expecting a lot of stuff to be going on. Um, and there really wasn't a lot. But I got to keep in mind that this was 1971 um, as well. So we're going to be getting into the grittier stuff as we go along with this series. So I've seen a few of you popping in and out of here tonight, and I do appreciate that. I guess that is all I've got to talk about for the night. Went on for about 25, 26 minutes. Um, but I want to thank those of you that did stop by to hear me talk about these films. And I want to thank people in advance who watched this on the replay that didn't get to watch it live tonight. It will be on YouTube, and that way you can watch it at your leisure. Don't forget about the Soup and Jowls. It should be dropping at some point this weekend. Those are pre-recorded. They're just little 3-minute shorts. Won't take too much time out of your day. Like I said, I've got another Dick's Picks, another Cannon Fodder. Dick's Picks will be Tuesday night, hopefully at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Cannon Fodder, I'll be talking about another couple of Cannon films from the Golden Globus era on Wednesday, hopefully at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday, I hope to have another They're All Messed Up episode 3, where I'll be talking about another couple of slasher films. And maybe we'll have a Friday Foolish, but definitely me and Hope, join Hope and I for Terrifier 3 watch along starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time this coming Friday. And there will also be a couple of watch alongs. Evil Laugh is in the lead for Saturday. Chopping Mall is in the lead for Sunday. So make sure you get your votes in before Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, when I'm going to lock down the voting and pick a winner for each one of those days. And I guess that's all for me. I see somebody commented. Hey, Tom. I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Friday, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.